grill to heat up, they didn't have that connection with the other charcoal. Those charcoal never burned. They stayed cold rocks of carbon the entire time. They never got lit by the rest of the charcoal. And that's what it's like as followers of Christ when we remove ourselves from the faith community. We're that cold hunk of charcoal sitting off to the side of the fire. We don't burn with the rest of them. We got together as a leadership team last September, and we had a board retreat or a really long board meeting, depending on how you want to look at it. But we were at the Ewan's Lake House, so I thought it was a retreat. We weren't, sitting in the basement. And one of the things that was important for me to do is, being very new, is I asked, what did you guys do pre-COVID? And I had a big, I thought it was a big wipe-off board. And I asked the board, list off all of the things that the church was actively doing during pre-COVID. And I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And then my eyes got big and I just kept writing because they kept saying more and more stuff and the list got longer and longer. I'm like, no wonder you guys are tired. And it was this massive list of stuff that was going on in the life of the church. And I got exhausted just reading it. Gathering is really, really important. And over the last 2 or 3 years, we've lost something in being unable to gather. And at the same time, some of us have forgotten how to gather. We've forgotten our need for each other. We've forgotten our need for being a part of this community of the resurrected. And it's easy. We get into a cycle, we get into a routine, and then, it's hard to break that. It's hard to get back into something. I've gone through different, workout phases, and if I take like a week off from, exercising, I've got no motivation to get back into it. That's work. I don't want to do that again. And it's kind of the same thing. And, we were apart for a lot more than, a week. We were out for a couple years. There's lots of habits that get built over 2 years of, oh yeah, Sunday morning, I've already replaced that with something else. Oh yeah, midweek, yeah, I'm busy then too. And it's easy for us to forget how to gather, and that may seem really, really odd. But gathering is so important. It's how our community experiences Jesus. That may seem really weird. Okay, so we get together on Sunday morning and we show up for church, and that's how Colville sees Jesus. Yes, in part it is. Because when we get together, they see how Christians treat each other. They see how followers of Christ behave as we, smile and wave in the grocery store and we stop and talk and we're interacting with each other out in the community and like, hey, they're kind of weird. Yeah, because we follow Jesus. And we practice that weirdness by showing up to church and hanging out and getting to know each other and being this community of the resurrected. See, the community sees us as we're interacting with each other, and they see what it looks like to follow Jesus when we put needs above our own. When we give up our time to help somebody out, when we give generously out of our resources to help someone out, the community sees that. See, we think that they don't see us because we walk in here and we close 2 sets of doors, but I guarantee the community sees it. Our community sees us even when you don't think they're seeing us. And our community is watching. And as the church gathers, Christ is visible to the world through us. That's God's plan. That was Jesus' design. So that the world may know he told us. And he said, now go tell them. Now, it's a good thing that I'm not God or Jesus, because I think that's a pretty rotten plan to put salvation in the hands of us. But thankfully, I'm not God. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Chesterton had a great quote: the Christian ideal has not been tried and found wanting. It's been found difficult and left untried. I just love that quote. The Christian ideal has not been tried and